Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our session on outdoor events. And welcome to welcome to the Experiential Marketing Summit. I had a little Zoom fluster there for a moment. Note to self, you cannot do 3 Zooms at the same exact time. We learned that the hard way today. So if you're doing virtual events, just keep that in mind. I'm Jessica Heasley with Event Marketer, and we're so excited to spend the next 30 minutes or so talking about what is arguably one of the most important event tactics in your event arsenal this year. Outdoor events have always been a great and an important part of many, many event strategies, but today it may be one of your only event strategies, which means it's more imperative than ever to understand the nuances of crafting compelling outdoor experiences that also check all of those boxes when it comes to social distancing. We have 3 experts here with us today who are going to show you the ropes and talk about it more. We have Jen Fish, Executive Creative Director at B Corps. Hello, Jen. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You bet. We have Marcus Gilmore, Associate Experiential Producer at Momentum Worldwide. Hello, Marcus. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
Good. You bet. And moderating the conversation today is my friend Jeff Fortman. He's the Vice President of Business Development and Marketing at Highmark Outdoor. Hey, Jeff.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm
Great.
good.
Okay, so Jeff, I'm going to let you take it away in just a minute. We are going to take questions and definitely try and get to those at the end of the session. So if you're watching here in the Swap Card platform, just drop your questions right into the question tab or the chat. I'll be checking those throughout. And then we'll do our very best to get to them at the end of the session. So Jeff, I will let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Jess. So to everyone out there, just so you know, like I've completely embraced the EMS virtual summit. I've gone to the workouts in the morning. I've gone to content. I've networked. I've even did trivia late at night and drank beers and met new friends. So like I'm all in on it. And I hope everyone else is having a good time so far. So before we begin and really dive in, I wanted to just let everyone introduce themselves. I'll start. Again, Jess already did that for us, but my background is, if you don't know, about 1.5 years ago, I was on the Event Marketer team. I was the Associate Publisher and Business Director for Event Marketer and the Experiential Marketing Summit for 14 years or so, and joined the Highmark team 1.5 years ago, and it's been quite a run since then and a lot of fun. Obviously, Q1 was a blast this year, and then we all hit the brakes. So that's where I am right now. I'm based out in Connecticut. And Jen, why don't you just give us a quick, where are you and background on what's going on?
Yeah, sure. I'm in LA. I've been lucky enough to be the head of creative at B Corps for the last 9 years. So I get to work on all the awesome clients that come through our doors. And then outside of work, I love cooking. That's my other creative outlet when I'm not coming up with ideas. I've actually written 4 cookbooks over the last couple of years, and I have a food blog. So when I'm not, in all my spare time, that's what I do.
See, Marcus, she didn't even tell us she had 4 cookbooks before this.
I did not know. I felt like she was holding that one in her back pocket.
I'm full of surprises.
Marcus.
So, yeah, man, first off, thank you for having me on this panel. And Jen, it's a pleasure to meet you. And it's been swell working with you as well. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, and I am based in Brooklyn now, working at Momentum as an associate experiential producer. I've been at Momentum for 2.5 years. I originally came to New York through a fellowship program, the Verizon Ad Fellows program, that was focused on minorities getting into advertising. And so I took that opportunity and took a leap and went over to Momentum. So it's been a blast since then. I mainly focus on our sports and tech brand partnership experiences. And in spare time, I'm playing basketball. I have a website that I run called The Culture Supplier, but also putting together puzzles, going on runs, hikes, as much outdoors things as I can before the winter hits.
That's awesome. Very cool. Okay, so we're going to dive in, but before we do, one of the things I took away from Zach YouTube, and it's a quote known well from Gretzky, but it's the, go to where the puck is going, not to where it is, right? And that's, I think that'll be a big theme about what we're talking about. But before we do, if we were live right now at the Experiential Marketing Summit, this is where we would be, the middle of the exhibit hall for this session. This is the Highmark Hub. We're big supporters of Event Marketer. We love everything about it, and the event is a home run. And this is what we would have created in Chicago at the McCormick Center. This is one of our our multi-level event max structures that can be used indoor and outdoor. So, and that's a little bit of behind the scenes of Highmark. But what I wanted to do was say, like, okay, where were we, Jen, Marcus, and myself, right before COVID hit? What was the last project? And again, I'll start. This was Pebble Beach, and this was a project we were at in late February with AT&T. Our friends at Wasserman and Pinnacle were big partners in this project, and this is a Highmark project. This thing was unbelievable. It was heading after Pebble Beach. It was going to make its way down to the Byron Nelson in Texas, McKinley, Texas, I believe, and another PGA event. So this was late February. We also were at ConExpo for the construction show for Trade Show World. We had a ton of projects there. But give us, Jen, I'm going to pull up sharing screen. Sometimes I'm nervous, like my Amazon card is going to pop up or my kids' Little League thing is. But here's another picture. And then Jen, I think this is where you were last.
Not that one. Yep, that one. Yeah, so we've been entertaining Laker fans at LA Live with game day experiences. Never could have imagined the bubble at that time, but ultimately the goal for the Lakers is realized with the championship. So that's awesome. We're super happy for them. And then we just finished a final test build on a big activation structure for White Claw that was going to debut at the Kentucky Derby, and got to test build, and then everything shut down. So hopefully that one gets to see the light of day at some point in the near future. But yeah, I think this is the last place we gathered thousands and thousands of people together. And it's actually pretty crazy to see like the whole crowds with everybody all there. Such a different time.
I know. Hopefully one day we can dust off that White Claw build. And Marcus.
I hope so.
Yeah, so for us and for myself, I was in Miami prior to the COVID shutdown, working on the Verizon 5G Dome held at Super Bowl. For 5 days at Bayfront Park in Miami, we delivered 5G experiences to fans and to showcase how the Verizon 5G ultra wide band would change the experiences, especially for football. This was one of my favorite projects. I was able to, late nights on site, early mornings, creating just some memorable moments for Momentum specifically, and even just my team, the experiential team.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna stop the share right there, and we should all be back on here live. And so, let's talk about, one of the things I want to get into really is like, not when are we going to get back, right? Like, cause no one knows that. There's no crystal ball. And I really want to focus on, when we do get back, how are we going to be back? And what are the things? But as we get to that, what was it like at the office? What was it like within your teams, going through that transition experience, and the clients? What were they saying, and how are you helping them? And we'll then get into some trends and interesting direction. But Jen, why don't you start? Like, what was going on at the time with internally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was such an abrupt switchover, right? I think everyone's done an amazing job of really getting used to the Zoom life and whatnot. I think a big piece for everybody, including myself, is just getting a routine down. Like, I think a lot of times it started to feel like we were sleeping at work versus like working from home. Like, it just was like one, continuous day. So, and they all look the same. So, but, one thing I think in the agency world is a lot of people really didn't think that remote working worked well for collaborative environments. And I think this time period, when everybody has no other option, has proved that it actually can work really well. And, one of the things that I've really liked is with client relationships. From that perspective, I feel like there's just a much more human aspect to being able to like kind of talk to a client when they're in their own home, when their kid might pop on, you know, the team screen or whatever it might be, and just being able to have like more of that personal relationship versus, you know, like the cold conference room kind of scenario. So I really enjoyed that piece of it.
Yeah, I've actually heard that a lot. Like you get to see who the person is, right? From where they are at home in their life and things like that. That's cool. Marcus, anything from your end?
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, she's right. Jen is right. Seeing the clients and being able to, you see in their background, they may have some medals, they may have their favorite artist or anything like that. You really didn't get that from the office setting as much, but now you get to see that from the client, and it does create that human interaction. But also for us, like we're experiential producers and we think about solving problems all the time. And in this moment, we all just had to stop, right? Every idea, every project had to really come to that halt. And we went through some changes, but I think at the same time, we are constructed for better. And I think that we're doing really well now, but it definitely was tough. And like Jen said, getting that routine together, man, it was so hard to wake up and see my desk and know, hey, I really need to put on a button down shirt and just change, you know, and getting to that rhythm, right? And still make my coffee, still have breakfast, like do all of those things because that's important to be successful from working from home.
Yeah, for sure. It's getting dressed is important.
It is.
I mean, I still wear sweats, but yeah.
Professional
nicer
up top.
daytime sweats.
Yeah, professional up top, and you know, very relaxed at the shoes.
That's like, you know, I don't know if during the Burger King CMO keynote today, the Couch Patriot, he had a commercial where you like everyone has to stay on their couches. You got to do this for your country, you know, and everyone's like, I'm a Couch Patriot. I was a Couch Patriot for a couple of weeks there. You know, I think I rewatched the entire season of The Sopranos just for fun. Like that was my thing.
That was one of the shows I watched during this as well. Yeah,
yep.
Lots of Netflix.
It's the classic.
So, okay. So we got through it. Now let's talk about trends and what we're seeing when we get through this and what we're doing with clients now. If they're not doing something live, what are we doing with them now and where are we going to take them? And whether it's a technology conversation, you know, but outdoor, obviously the theme of this session is, are we moving outdoors first? Like these kind of things, like talk to me a little bit about that. I don't know, whoever wants to jump in first.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, we're a group mainly of the people that I feel like are here today listening to this. We're problem solvers at heart and problem enthusiasts. So we're looking at what the situation is and we're going to adapt. And so you're seeing the things like the virtual concerts, the drive-in movies. I was just finished working on a project with Walmart. So we did a Walmart drive-in and we toured all the way until this month now with this project. And people are adapting, the consumers are adapting, the clients have adapted and changed their perspective on what results are. And bringing those people together is at the core and experiencing their brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I'm designing an outdoor experience right now that'll go live through the holidays. And it's like a walkthrough experience. And we're just focusing on, you know, touchless technology with, you know, compelling physical environments that people don't necessarily need to crowd around or anything like that, but still being able to like give people experiences, let them self-steer themselves through the experience so they can kind of choose how they want to interact or how much they want to interact. And then another piece that I feel like is a big piece right now is just like trying to find ways to inspire people, like bring positivity. Like there's a whole wellness piece to being able to have, you know, experiences in person and still being able to kind of like what I keep calling it is like radical positivity, like trying to create like happy spaces, like bring, you know, people joy during these times. Like everybody needs it. Like who knows, you know, what the end of this year is going to look like even. And so that's kind of the type of thing that we're focusing on right now. And I feel like that's going to continue throughout, you know, next year for sure.
Is there regions in the country that are like the warmer weather, warmer climates? Are they focused? Are brands talking about like, okay, we still can do stuff outdoors in Florida or in Texas or in California. We'll stay away from the cold climates. Is that at all even a topic?
I don't know if it's a topic, but it is something that we take into consideration, you know, just like based on what each state regulation is at the moment.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're tailoring our ideas there. But I love what Jen just said about radical positivity. That's so big. And you see it from the NBA players, you see it from the athletes specifically, all of them. They want positivity. They're sharing that. And so consumers and brands, they want the same thing too. So we have to show that through our outdoor experiences.
So we changed, you know, I can't, the pivot word, right? We're going to say it. You know, at Highmark, look, we had to we kept the machines going, right? And so we started creating PPE, and we still do. We have plastic barriers for schools was very successful. Businesses are now starting to come around again for round 2. And now we started getting into creating structures for restaurants. We're putting up a structure at a brewery in Chicago. So for anybody in Chicago, go check out Pilot Project down in Milwaukee in a couple weeks. And so those are the types of things that we're doing. We're talking to ski resorts right now because that whole lodge is, you know, half capacity. So can we take the cabana approach of Vegas pools and bring that out to the ski slopes? So we're doing a lot of stuff. What is, you know, Marcus, I think you talked a lot about digital content, right? And like, what other things are you guys doing now? And then let's just dive into maybe health and safety as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we are doing a lot of digital virtual events. We just put out a virtual concert with Alicia Keys. So like I said, I think that those moments are still going to happen. And if anything, they're going to increase as we create experiences, and we're in the creative room with our design team. And I feel like that relationship has grown even more. We've become better friends in creation because we know we need each other through design and how we build things. And so even our event safety protocols that we go through, that's something that's at the forefront of every conversation. So I think that we have to be mindful of those things as we create and design.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know our production team got together pretty quickly, and we've launched now a COVID consultancy group called Safe Space. So they've totally, you know, taken all of their logistics expertise and really like gotten into all the nitty gritty on what's going to make an event site be able to be safe and be able to continue activating and whatnot. So they've been on the forefront of that and just working with any agencies or brands or venues and really being able to kind of keep the experiential world rolling. So that's been awesome on that side of it. And then same, we've done a lot of virtual events. We're doing a great cool trivia experience that's coming up at the end of this week. We've done a lot of video content, you know, different video stunts. We're gonna be doing a cool kind of digital, a build out, but then also like a large social aspect to it. And I think that's really what everything's gonna be moving forward is, you know, there will be a physical footprint, there will be a build, but there's always gonna be a virtual or social extension as well, which, you know, really has been the case for a long time. But I think this time period has been able to kind of push that, like fast forward for some brands who maybe hadn't dipped their toe all the way into that. And now it's just like a necessity and another arm of what the experience is.
Yeah, it has to be a total 360 package now. And like Jen said, it may be an outdoor experience, it may be some build that you may see, but there's going to be a digital social component or the lift is going to be heavier there. You're going to see a larger presence. And I think that's going to be key, especially in the next 6 to 12 months for a lot of these brands to execute on.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the conversations I'm hearing is the actual footprint of an event is going to be so much larger to create that space. Or, you know, like to give everyone that safe feeling, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, in the short term at least, like I'm not going to put on any kind of Oculus goggles or anything. You know, no one's
Yeah.
doing that right now. And I did that at whether it was the Verizon booth at the Super Bowl one year, and had no hesitation, and it was awesome. And I sat in a little rocket ship egg thing and got bounced around, and, you know, but I don't feel like that's really going to be the case.
I do want
Yeah,
to
I
say
think the
that.
augmented reality.
Yeah,
Well,
it was I forgot the name of them, but it was one of our experience. Yes, we do clean our
Yeah.
headsets. That is key.
You did. I give you that.
Yeah.
For health and safety, even our module boxes that we drop, we created face fever detection boxes, PPE mask handouts, hand washing stations, and you know, we're putting them in all different places that we never, like outside of a retail shopping market, you know, and inside a mall, right? So just so that property can feel like they're doing everything they can to give their customers a safe environment. But it's not going anywhere for sure. It's health and safety is going to be key, and a factor of, like, you know, I'm one that will go for it and go to a live event, but I think it's going to take a while for a lot of people to get there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no one size fit all approach to dealing with the health and safety. So each event is going to be different. Each space is different. You mentioned the mall. I think even just those outdoor malls are going to be more prevalent. People can go in and out, so brands can take advantage of those kind of moments. I think that it's going to be different, and
For
it's
sure.
already showing that.
And I think it's a fun, you know, I think a lot of technology will come out of this too. I've been
Oh, yeah.
seeing some new stuff on like self-cleaning display materials and different things like that, you know, where if you do have a larger space, if you do have bookable time slots, different things like that, where you can really spread people out and be able to make sure that everything's kind of cleaned in between. And, you know, is it that we're using antimicrobial, you know, materials or whatever it might be.
Right.
It's just a lot of new things that we can look into and be more conscious of, that I think, you know, even when COVID hopefully is gone at some point, it's still going to be something that people look for.
I think the one of the takeaways from all of this has been the networking that's been going on between designers, creatives. You know, past competitors are now current allies, right, and friends. For the designer, creative director, agency, or brand that does it in-house, or anyone, like from the advice standpoint, as we, you know, go into the next phase here, and whether you're in between something, you're furloughed, or you're chugging along right now with your current work, is there any advice that you guys have thought about to share with everyone for a takeaway?
I mean, I think, you know, the biggest thing is, that creativity really just thrives on problem solving. So I think, you know, if you can keep coming with, you know, interesting solutions and be able to reach out to people and be able to, you know, everybody's more available than ever, I feel like, has a little more time potentially, or just an openness and willingness to talk. So I feel like a lot of people, you're right, have been connecting a lot more. I've noticed that. And ultimately, you know, people still have a passion for experiences and getting out there, and that passion is going to grow even more in the near future whenever this gets under control. And so I think we're all going to be in a great spot for that. And it's, you know, anything that's difficult just makes you get more creative and makes you push yourself to kind of integrate new ways of thinking, think about solutions. Not everything is as straightforward, you know, build potentially now. There's a lot of different ways to think about something, which I think makes everybody better at what they do.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would love to see vendors who are in the space, you know, take their capabilities deck and see how they can revamp it to acknowledge the things that we've mentioned today, from space to safety to tech. If you're a build, how do you create these, you know, sanitizer? How do you make the hand sanitizing station a little bit more friendly? What are things you can add to the things that already exist so you can be more appealing to brands? How do you be more customizable, right? Like, so all brands want to put their logo in a lot of places. So how do you make that more readily available? I think that's all key for us. And then to young creatives, like, don't be afraid, be abstract, but be functional at the same time. How do you know, take those white paper ideas, take those moments where you're watching Twitch and you're like, that's going to be a really good idea, and draw it out and really dig through how you can make that happen. There's nothing but space and opportunity right now. So you should feel it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I miss the one thing I do miss about the live experiences and conferences like this is that, that getting together and a napkin sketch, right?
Yeah.
And like this, having Marcus come to me and say, hey, Jeff, like, this is what we want to do. Can you guys even do that? And then be like, I don't know, let's dive in. And then you sort of have those conversations and oh, by the way, walking through the foyer or at the bar, maybe someone that we know that does that, right? And you got, you have to talk to him. That's the hard part. That's what's missing, with the B2B side of trade shows and events in these experiences. But very cool. And then, is there anything that, creatively you guys, like, don't be embarrassed, but like a website or a book or somewhere you go get inspiration? Is there anywhere you dive into that is just like, for me in the marketing world, and there's a newsletter called the Hustle. I love it. It's a great newsletter. There's things like that. So is there anything that comes to mind? And then we may jump into questions, but I was just wondering last as we wrap up.
I'm a big YouTube guy, so I watch a lot of YouTube. I spend every Thursday, I call it Twitch Thursdays, where I just get on Twitch and I just bounce around a lot. I'm looking at live games, streaming, anything that's appealing there. And it's just for me to keep my mind going. And then, of course, like YouTube content. Also, like, our agency sends out a lot of industry stuff. So we have like a thing called Techno Tuesday, which our tech team sends out, and I use that as something that I keep my eyes on.
Cool.
I'm a huge Pinterest person, always have been, always will be. I have lots of boards, but then I also probably have like 200 secret boards, like one for every project. So I'm always roaming on there endlessly. And then one of my favorite things is looking at street art. So I work in downtown LA when we go to work, so that would be really easy to, drive by tons of new stuff every day. Now I have to kind of seek it out, stalk them all on Instagram and things like that, and then like make a point of driving around these days. But one of my favorite things I've done during COVID is actually put trend reports together for our clients and be able to pitch those to them. We've done lots of proactive pitching and things like that, but sometimes it's just really like being able to share perspective of where trends are at, where different things are going. And so I've loved getting to do that, which I don't always have the time for necessarily. So that's been a really fun piece for me. Just kind of like sorting through things and figuring out what the future is for, experience design and things. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that earlier this week about missing, like, when you travel or even commute on the train or the subway, you catch so much culture and shoes and watches and and fashion that you start missing this, or people watching, right? Like, you get a lot of inspiration.
The subways in New York, even though I had to adjust to them, it was, you do see the latest fashion, you do see the latest styles. And so there are mornings where I wake up and I hope I don't lose my swag, because I feel like I dress pretty nice. But at the same time, like, seeing that in New York, it helps a lot. And so I know for sure in LA, the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And I noticed I kept listening to the same playlist on my phone every day. And I was like, whoa, I need to I need to find some new music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. And, thanks for joining us, guys. There is Jess. I don't know if there's any questions coming in because I don't see them in front of me. What's going on?
Yeah.
Jess, how'd we do, Jess? How'd we do?
You did great. You did great. Yeah. Jeff, I don't know if you ever had swag, but, just had to, we worked together for a long time. So I had to do that.
That's a good one.
No, there's a lot of great questions, and I don't think we have time to get to all of them. So I'm going to throw one your way just as we wrap up here. But I bet Jeff, maybe you can hop into the chat afterwards, and if anybody wants to, if you guys want to jump into the chat here and just kind of answer any questions that were interesting to you, for sure, that'd be great. But good strategic question is: Are there business problems and events that can't be solved with an outdoor venue? Is there anything that's just not adaptable? Thinking like trade shows, just specific. Is there anything in B2B, just something that you think, that's just never going to work outdoors? Or do you feel like we can kind of turn anything into an outdoor temporary structure or experience?
I mean, I'm
So I'll
trying
jump
to think
in.
of something that
Go ahead.
couldn't, but yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
So I'll jump in. The conversations we're having on the trade show side is taking the trade. So if you're selling medical equipment or trade show on the B2B side, is take that trade show to the client's parking lot, right? And we create a micro event with different structures. That's how that's being solved. But I don't know. I can't think of anything specific that just can't be possible unless it's like the Olympics, right? Like size is hard.
Yeah. Another question just about warmth. So someone's from Chicago wondering, is it possible to keep it outdoor and warm at the same time in cold weather? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think this is where, like we said, the innovation comes, where the companies that are already in that space, they can create something for us in that moment. I think that this is where, like I said, innovation, exploring, and being creative.
Yeah.
But Chicago is a
Chicago's tough.
Tough.
With
That's a
that,
level.
I mean, this brewery in Chicago, whoever wrote that, go check it out. Pilot project. We're gonna build it. 50% of this, it has to be open 50%, and it's not a tent, right? So it's a real structure. It wasn't it wasn't our industry, the restaurant industry, but it's becoming something that we're focused on, and it's going to be cool. So and there's going to be heat in it as well.
Yeah. Okay, we're a couple
I've seen
minutes
all
over.
those little domes.
Finish, Jen.
I was gonna say, I just saw all those little domes that are popping up. I think it was Chicago or New York, I can't remember, but the Stella Artois domes and things like that are popping up all over the place. So people are finding their ways.
Yeah, for sure. Last question for you, because I think it's an interesting one. How are you incorporating business or leads into outdoor touchless moments? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, like QR codes and things like that, people are used to using their own devices at this point. They're comfortable with augmented reality. They're comfortable with codes. I think having that connect to a microsite with a separate virtual experience or whatever it might be is a really easy and seamless way to gather, whether it's consumer data or B2B data or whatever it might be. I think it's just another opportunity to extend the experience.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, Marcus, Jen, and Jeff, thank you so much. We appreciate your time, expertise, insights, talents. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, if anyone has questions about Highmark, we have a booth through the virtual booth here where I'm networking all the time, so come find me if you have any questions. Marcus, Jen, thank you so much. Appreciate all the time. I'll talk to you guys soon enough.
All right. Thank you.